Hello, everyone. It's me again. Finally, it's been a long time, I know. I am dealing with, and you may see me doing this a lot as I speak to you today. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. I injured my neck rather severely a few months ago, and I've had surgery on my neck before, and now I'm in a lot of pain. I'm waiting for surgery again. Um, I have some really bad cervical spine issues. And, but, I've been trying to stay connected via Quora.com, threefoldlotus.com on Quora.com, or Sylvain Chamberlain on Quora.com. My Facebook site. But I've been hard pressed to do videos. There's a longer commitment to do this. But I have been seeing so many questions from people about um, chanting, meditation. What does it do for you? What has it done for you? How does it work? And it's finally, over the last couple of weeks, it's really, really been waking me up at night that I understand the problem here. And I want to share with you something. We're humans, and duh, right? Um, and as humans, we are in samsara, in this conditioned existence of our energies. We are pattern recognizers. Uh, that's pretty much how we run our lives. We look for patterns in everything. Uh, when we see another human being, we look at their face, and even without thinking about it, our brain is processing what are the features of this face? Does it look menacing? Does it look friendly? Is it something I can approach, or something I should run from or confront? All of this stuff is going on, zip bam boom, in your head before you even open your mouth, because the way you think about what you might say to that person is colored by all that information that you're not even paying attention is going on. Okay, I don't want this to be a big psychology lesson. I'm going to say something that for a lot of you is going to be a very difficult statement. And I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, please don't make a snap judgment on what I'm about to say. Please hear me out. And my hope, my confidence, screw hope, my confidence is that you will hear the truth in what I'm saying, and in your own way, in your own mind, in your own experience, in your own understanding, I am going to open a door. I feel so strongly about this that no matter how much pain I'm in, I have to make this video. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get the money together for this surgery, but it can't come soon enough. All right, sorry about me. Just edit that out. In everything we do, human beings need to have, even if it's completely abstract, we have to have some kind of destination in mind, some kind of goal for what we're doing. You don't go out and shovel dirt unless you know ahead of time that what you're attempting to do is create a hole. And that hole will probably have some kind of specificity. Is it for a footing, a foundation, burying a pet that died? What is the hole for? And whatever the hole turns out to be isn't as important as just having a sense of really purpose. Why am I doing what I'm doing? The how will come from experience and learning, and I may end up where I thought I was going or completely different than where I thought I was going. But that doesn't matter, because the thought of what I wanted to do when I started this action is what formed the will in my mind to conduct my body, my mouth, my eyes, my everything, my behaviors toward, forward. This is just how we work. I mean, it may sound silly me breaking it down like this, but I think this is where the train falls apart for a lot of people who want to either have never tried Buddhism and want answers, or maybe you've been practicing 20 years and you still don't quite get that. And I'll iterate once again here. Buddhism is a program of study. But you can study a whole lot of ancient writings and scholarship and get all of the rhetoric, but not get the meaning. And Buddha was, read the Lankavatara Sutra, just one I'm thinking of out of all the sutras, where he just pounds and pounds and pounds. Stop thinking about the words and start thinking about the meaning. The meaning is where it's at. So I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you here, but please let me explain it. You've heard the argument Buddha isn't a person, it's a life condition. If you haven't heard that before, first truth bomb, okay? Buddha is not a person. Buddha is not a human. Buddha is not a thing. Buddha is a state. And with the modern world and all of the science that we have, I feel very confident in telling you that it's a state of energy. Everything is energy. Everything. Read Einstein. Read it several times, because a lot of scientists still don't know what Einstein meant. Energy is, and energy has the potential to be any phenomena, anything. And a thing isn't just this laptop or this thick head. A thing is also a thought. A thing is also a force. It's anything manifest from energy is a phenomena. All right? Buddha is a phenomena on the cusp of I'm struggling with how to say this to you. And this is why Buddha said it himself. Buddha, understanding Buddhahood or Buddha can only be shared amongst Buddha, not Buddhahoods or Buddha. Buddha is really a non-phenomenon. There's always this double thing in Buddhism because it's hard to traverse the meaning with samsara. So I'm going to say it very plainly. Buddha is nothing. What? Buddha does not exist because exist is phenomena. It's something. All right, now please let me explain. When we talk about practicing Buddhism, we talk about awakening our Buddha nature or our Buddhahood. And this is the exciting thing about Buddha since 3,000 years ago, approximately. Buddha wasn't teaching everyone how to become Buddha, because we're going to do that when we cease to exist. What he was trying to teach everyone was how to awaken to Buddha so that we can manifest thingness, phenomena, our Buddha nature and our Buddhahood. Why is this essential? Because to be a Buddha in human form is actually not to be a Buddha, but to be a Bodhisattva. What's the difference between a Bodhisattva and a Buddhahood? And a Buddha, I mean? A Bodhisattva is someone who realizes what Buddha is, and with that awareness, changes every single cellular thing in their phenomena in samsara to work within the knowledge of Buddha. This is why a bodhisattva helps themselves and others. That's the Mahayana concept in its entirety. So in truth, second truth bomb, we call Shakyamuni Buddha because of his realization, but not because he was a Buddha, although that's the rhetoric because we're in samsara and we need to talk to humans, and humans won't get energy, non-energy, phenomena, nomina. What they get is what's in their face. What we see is what we get. Okay. In reality, Shakyamuni was the foremost bodhisattva. He operated, though, as a bodhisattva who had complete and utter awakening to Buddha. And he taught everyone to reach their Buddhahood or Buddha nature or Buddha mind so that they could, in effect, become bodhisattvas in this human form to help others get to that same place. So, how do you as a human experience Buddhahood? Well, it may be hard to think back. I don't know what age you are who's listening to me, but think back to puberty. You were going along, having a great old time in life, and then suddenly something happened between your legs, your groin. Something changed, and it changed bigly. It changed big time. It changed so much that suddenly, in a very short period of time, every single thing in your life was different. Your worldview overnight just completely changed. You girls, when you had your first period, don't tell me your world wasn't upended. Suddenly, the whole world, along with yourself, was a completely different place. Guys, okay? So, that is a significant epiphanal moment in all our lives as human beings. And still, that's only on the level of the physical, the phenomenal. To awaken to Buddhahood, or what Buddha is, the mind-altering perception that Buddha is incalculably more significant than that moment. Let's just think about that for a second, because if you can't think back to how your life was changed by puberty, you can certainly imagine it. Now, all us practicing Buddhists are trying to reach that same kind of epiphany by digging deeply and developing greater and greater perception, breadth of perception, depth of perception of not only our own lives, that's Hinayana Buddhism, but all life, Mahayana Buddhism. How does it work? Where does it come from? How does it manifest into thingness, phenomena? How does this process work? I need to be able to look at it and go, okay, where am I going? What does that look like? What do I think it looks like? What am I hoping to find? So I'm glad that abstraction works, because that's the only way as human beings that we're able to set this goal in front of us. But it's a very reasonable goal. It's a goal that's observable, that happens day to day in our study and our practice. You must study. And you must study in order to gain meaning, not just accrue vocabulary. I mean, that's cool. Now you can become conversant in all of the teachings, but conversant in all of the teachings does not mean you understand the teachings. I know guys who can recite the quadratic formula from mathematics, but they don't have any clue of what use it might be, how you might apply it in daily life. But, they can recite pi to 100 places. So what? Do you understand the significance of a ratio between a circle's diameter and its circumference? What's the significance of that? That's a tough one. This is like chasing Buddha. By chasing Buddha, we practice. How do we practice? We study. As we study, we meditate. We chant. We chant. We can chant about our daily life. We can chant about a new car. We can chant that when we go to court, everything's going to be okay. But that's just preoccupying our human mind. When we chant, what's really happening is we're delving deeply into our own natures, into the nature of all things, to wake up our Buddha perception. So yeah, that's, Nichiren said earthly desires are enlightenment. Not because our goal is to wish things into existence, but because desires and craving are such a fundamental part of being, a verb, that we can use it to trick ourselves into being motivated to chant, to meditate. But the goal, so I'm not going to trick you here, I'm going to tell you the truth. The goal of meditation and chanting is to awaken, to single-mindedly create your relationship to Buddha. Is Buddha a person? No. Is Buddha a thing? No. Is Buddha, it's a state of energy. And it exists in everything. And from the standpoint of where that is, we can then look back out at everything and see the truth without patterns, without prejudices, predilections, color, sound. We see everything with absolute equanimity because we're at the formation of everything. And when you get that aha in your human mind, your worldview is going to blow up. And at that point, nothing that happens around you, nothing that you experience in samsara can affect you. Because you'll see so far beneath it. It's like the day you decided with somebody who was always nagging you about something, or some little kid that had, threatened you. You didn't feel threatened by a 4-year-old. You felt sad. You felt like you wanted to help that kid or find out how that kid came to that place where it felt it had to threaten you. What is his parents like? What are her, all of those kind of questions go through your head. Why? Because that's compassion. That's your Buddha nature, and you don't even know it. Because you understand fundamentally that this little 4-year-old still crapping his pants is, if you're afraid, then you're not living in a good place, mentally or physically. Gosh, I don't know if that helps. There are, Buddhism is not a religion because it's based on actual experience. There are religions out there that take advantage of our basic human need to have some sense of where we're going, some sense of purpose, some sense of what it's like to get there. And they invent all sorts of mythologies and bizarreness and mysticism. And we're so desperate to have some kind of a destination lined out for us in our lives that many, many humans just go, okay, I believe that. And then they can go on with their daily lives. But man, what a worldview that is. What a messed up, war inducing, self hating. It's just bad. There's nothing redeeming about it. If anything in religion happens that seems to be of a good nature, it's only by accident of the human beings being naturally more good than evil. It's not the religion. Buddhism is very simple. All of your thoughts, words, and deeds should be life affirming. If they're not, then you're not practicing Buddhism correctly, or you just haven't gotten there yet. Your karma is just unkempt. It needs to be cleaned up. And how do we clean it? By study and concentration and contemplation on that study, so that we begin to replace the cells in our human mind, brain, and our thought energies, our mind, to think in this new, life affirming, awesome, precious way, so that we can sap the marrow from life, the beauty of life, the incredible nature of manifesting life in every single moment. I know you hear moment a lot in Buddhism. I don't care what you think it is. Pick a time measurement if you have to, from a second to Avogadro's number, fractional of an atom time. Whatever you need. Again, it's abstraction. So a moment is infinitesimally small, but it's a moment. And our lives happen moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. And there's a transfer from moment to moment, just like there is in our bodies from the marrow with our stem cells to regenerate new cells for each and every organ in our body. I'm sure you've heard it. Approximately every 7 years, all the cells that make up our human body are new. The old ones have been fluffed away, just like old skin. New skin comes up underneath it and replaces it. Those are cells. Those cells come from the marrow. From the marrow are stem cells, which are ready to be anything. Put me in, coach. Okay, you're going in as linebacker. Okay. All right. What we do as Buddhists is we intervene. We have billions and billions of cells who have tendencies built into them. And when the conditions are right, they manifest as something guided partially by our DNA, right? That's what the DNA is. It's a map. It's a programming. Make these kinds of cells with these kinds of tendencies. When we chant as Buddhists, we vibrate and inform every single cell in our body with Buddha nature. So it's kind of a cleansing. You ever done a cleansing? It's kind of a cleansing. It's a spiritual cleansing. Because what we do is we change, we alter, we influence our DNA. And part of that DNA manifests in how we think about things, how we view the world. And that's a complex relationship between the DNA and the mind and how they communicate to manifest what we call a self. It's a sensoric condition of our energies. So in another way of speaking about Buddha, Buddha is, as I said earlier, non-existing. Why? Because if you're completely in Buddha, the Buddha state, then this process of manifesting all this karma, all of this stuff to make this ceases. And you've heard that word many, many times in meditation. When you meditate, you have to cease the cravings. What cravings? The cravings that bring about the moment that you're experiencing. The cravings that bring about you. The cravings that bring about pain. The cravings that bring about that itch that you're having on your left knee. The cravings that manifest phenomena. And you're asked to cease those. Well, it's impossible. A human being cannot cease thinking. A human being cannot cease being. Because being is something that happens from one moment to the next. It's a transfer. If we interrupt being in the transfer and influence it over time, we can, say 7 years, give yourself that as an abstract. If I manifest, if I can chant, if I can meditate, study and meditate day and night, every day for 7 years, every single cell in my body will have been born in this state of influence of my Buddha nature. That would be the fastest way for you to attain enlightenment, awakening, become a full-fledged bodhisattva. That's time. 7 years is a long time. I turned 60 this year. 7 years doesn't seem that long. But 7 years of dedicated study, day and night, contemplation, meditation, chanting, that's tough to do. Not everyone has the will. But I can promise you this, the more you do it, the more you'll develop the will. So look, I'm coming up close to 30 minutes, so I'm gonna call it a day on this one. And I'm gonna go put my neck brace on and the heating pad and think some more on this. I think on this every day. And I'm posting this video for you guys. Because I really, really, really give a shit. I care about you guys. I want you to understand what I'm ranting about. Why I'm doing this. I want you to do this. Have your life, have sex, have girlfriends, boyfriends, have nice cars, have a great job, all that crap. But know that it's all entertainment. It's all just temporary stuff. Have a good time. But in the morning, in the evening, set aside time to get serious with yourself. Serious about life. And if you do that, I guarantee you one thing for sure will happen. All the politics and bullshit that go on at work or in your relationships, suddenly going to stop mattering so much. I mean, you'll still love your mate. You just won't be influenced by their lower state of being. When they get pissed off at you, you'll be able to either be more compassionate or less affected by it. And over time, not only will you be less affected, but you'll gain valuable insights into what they're going through and how they see their world. And then, with love and compassion, you won't even have to try, but you'll help them. You'll help them see what they're doing. And it'll be human revolution for them. And if they're not practicing Buddhism, they may leave you because, and you won't, and that won't hurt you because you'll see that they're not ready to move on like you are. So hopefully you'll encourage them to practice so that then they will understand your love and compassion and you'll be able to receive theirs. Buddhism is a beautiful thing, no matter how you slice it. Just stop trying to mysticize it. Stop trying to make it weird. It's just about learning, teaching yourself, and becoming a bigger human. Incorporating into your being enlightenment, awakening, smarts, insight. All right, I'm done. And if you got this far in the video, thank you so much. I got to tell you guys, I probably don't say it enough. I so appreciate the people that watch my channel. Please tell a friend, like it, subscribe. Even if I don't do it daily or weekly, I'm gonna drop bombs on you, and my whole motivation is to help you teach yourself, because that's how learning happens. Learning doesn't happen through a great teacher or having an authoritarian person just shove information into you. Learning happens in you. And when it happens in you, that's teaching. So it may sound like a trick, but this is how your mind works. When you take information in willingly with an eye toward interpreting it for yourself, you are teaching yourself. I've had some of the worst teachers in the world in my life, just heinous people. But because I looked at their behavior as something to analyze, understand, and bingo, learn from, I became a more sentient being. I became more able to understand different personalities, and I taught that to myself. They didn't. It just exposed me to something that I had a choice, either learn from it, run from it, or attack it. I choose learning. I hope you do too. Have a freaking brilliant day. Love you guys. I respect you guys. Take care. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Sabine out.